Hey everybody, it's Comic Crack. Happy Father's Day to all the comic book dads out there. My Father's Day got me some art, which is fantastic. This is from Lillian. You're one in a million, Dad. And apparently she glued it all together and it looks pretty great. I love it. It's fantastic. And then decorate it with some stickers and things. And then from the one and only Mr. Tom, I got this amazing painting. Check this out. Monstrous, colorful, upside down mouths. I love it. It's so great. It's gonna go right up in that space right over there, I think, so I can sit and look at it. But it's an incredible painting. I really like it. I think you did great. It's actually on a piece of canvas. So that's really exciting. Love it. Yeah, so happy Father's Day to everybody. This Father's Day, I'll leave you this to look at for now. This Father's Day, our big convention, C4, they run a smaller convention, pop culture kind of event. Toys, video games, and there's some comics and things too, but it's a lot of other things as opposed to comics. And I normally don't go to it. I don't have any interest. I looked it up this morning just out of curiosity and saw that because it was on Father's Day, if dads came with their kids, dads got in for free, and it was $5 for everybody else. I think it was kids under 5 get in for free as well. So Mr. Tom and I went to have a look because it was at the Viscount, which is like a 2-minute drive from our house. It's really close. So figured what the hell, I'd go and have a dig around to see what kind of comics were there. And boy, oh boy, am I ever glad that I went. I was very surprised at what I found there. I was really shocked. So let's get on with those stories. So the first bunch of stuff is from a dollar bin. And managed to pick myself up. Focus there, is that focus? There it goes. Some more Elric. So this is the Vanishing Tower. Another Vanishing Tower. And this time I'm positive there's no doubles in this one. So there's another. And more. And more. And more. So a bunch of Michael Moorcock's Elric comics. I'll save this pile for last here because that's a bit of a story. Other stuff I found for $1. I've got Eclipse magazine number 2, but these were $1 as well. They're a little damaged in the corner, but otherwise they're in great shape. So this is Eclipse number 3 and Eclipse number 4. I've never seen these around before. Number 2 I've seen quite a bit, actually. That one seems to float around a lot. It's got Coyote by Englehart and Rogers, and then Ms. Tree. So that's pretty exciting. On another table where there was magazines, I'm going to take this out of the bag because I want to show you a little bit of it. I've heard of this before, and this cost me $2, and it's the Krupp mail order catalog. Spring, summer, 1978. Kind of like a head shop type of magazine, but the most important thing in it, as you can see, heavy metals and underground comics. They sold that sort of thing too, as well as your usual dope paraphernalia, baggies, pipes, etc. A whole bunch of kick-ass posters. Some more, a door poster. Who did that one? That looks really familiar. It looks like that Coleman, maybe? I don't know. Doesn't say a name. Anyway, some Freak Brothers related posters and others. But what's really exciting about this to me is, if I can just get to it, here we go. Underground Comics section. Some letters mixed in with just some comics that they were selling at the time. This was a major name in distribution of undergrounds. Let me see if I can. There we go. How does that look? That looks a little better, right? A big distributor of underground comics, Krupp was. So this is great to have this as part of the collection. They had another one there as well, but it was really, really thin. It was a Christmas one from 1978 as well, actually. It looked almost like an insert to a magazine, and it was in really rough shape. And again, it was $2 as well. And I didn't necessarily think I needed that one for $2. There's a color section of quality comics from the underground. Young Lust, Rip-Off Comics, First Kingdom stuff, Bizarre Sex, bunch of Zap, of course, Freak Brothers, Slow Death, Star Reach, Mr. Natural, Hot Stuff, and the infamous Dr. Atomic. $1 each. Dr. Atomic stuff is pretty pricey these days. So this is fantastic to have as part of my ever-growing underground comics collection. Pudge, Quack, Mother Oats, Pork, People's Comics, Snarf, Skull, all the classics. Red Raider, I'm actually placing another order with the guy in Montreal, and that's one of the books that I'm picking up from him, Red Raider, etc. So there you go. This is incredible stuff. Some t-shirts, look at those pages, so fantastic. And more, and more, and more. And then, of course, then you get into the marijuana-related growers' guides, books about mushrooms, cocaine, Zen, etc. Periodicals, some ceramic pipes and hand-carved pipes. Snowfall year-round. Jesus, man. Unreal. Wow, pure ivory snow. Jeez Louise. Amazing. There you go. Power Hitter. The Phaser. The Power Mask. Get the fuck out of here. Amazing stuff. Really, really cool. Oh, hey, look at that. The Dealer McDope game, an ad for it. It's a game I really want to try to find. The Dealer McDope game. I'd love to find that. Scales, etc. Great. Really cool. So the Krupp catalog for $2. The biggest surprise was, if you follow me on Twitter, you know that I found some underground comics, and that was the biggest surprise of the convention. There was a few people there selling underground comics, and one of them I've seen before. I've never actually talked to him before, and his name is Ferd. Ended up talking to him for quite a bit. He's been collecting underground comics since kind of the early 70s when they were coming out. And even to this day, he says he tries to go to the States like once a month. I think he was saying he goes to Chicago once a month or once every couple of months and restocks. And he claims to have one of the biggest underground collections in North America, according to what he told me. Really great guy. It was really great hearing some of these stories. I walked up to his table and he had a bunch of books out on display, a variety of stuff, a lot of like, you know, more mainstream comics. But then, of course, he had the usual, whenever you see underground comics at these things, it's always Freak Brothers. He had a bunch of Freak Brothers, but he actually had early printings of them. So I was leafing through them, which sparked the conversation. He's like, oh, you're into some of the undergrounds? I'm like, actually, kind of really getting back into it lately. And I kind of gave him the Cliff's Notes version of my history with undergrounds, and he's like, well, maybe you want to take a look through this box. And he did the classic thing that completely melted my heart. He turned around and from the table behind him brought over this ratty old short box that was filled with underground comics. He's like, you know, I wasn't gonna bring this, and at the last minute I thought I may as well bring it just to see. He's like, I have tons more at home. I have plenty more. If you are interested in this sort of thing, here's my card. We exchanged information. He's like, get in touch. And I was like, why the hell am I dealing with a guy from Quebec? I know why I'm dealing with a guy from Quebec. I shouldn't say that. But it's one of those things, if this guy is a connection in town here, and I'm going to send him a list tonight of some things that I'm looking for that the guy in Quebec doesn't have, and just see what he says about them, if he has them, and if so, I may start doing business with him. I already got in touch with him to let him know that the next convention he's at, maybe we work at the same one, the Thirsties Flea Market one. I said I'd love to buy you a beer or coffee and hear some more stories about what it was like back then, especially when it comes to Canadian undergrounds. We started having a brief chat about that, and he said the usual names to me, but it sounds like he has a lot more to talk about, so I'd love to sit and pick his brain. And his buddy down a couple of tables away, he was saying he's a huge underground comics fan. He's an encyclopedia when it comes to the knowledge of all these undergrounds. I didn't have too much of a chance to talk to him, but I'd love to sit and pick both their brains. So that was a great thing. So here's what I got. Caliber Press presents a one-shot special, Invert. The art inside is equally crazy on this sucker as it is on the cover. Black and white, but really just nutso. A beautiful Robert Williams cover on this. Forbidden Knowledge Comics from Last Gasp. Great looking book inside as well. This was on a short list actually that I was thinking of picking up recently, and here it is. Dr. Wortham's Comics and Stories. Kind of 2 or 3 comics in one, pretty much. It's a flip over. Looks incredible too, another anthology. This was not rated very high on the Comics Joint page, but it's one of those books that I wanted to have purely based on the cover. I absolutely love that cover. They're all in pretty decent shape too, I gotta say. Death Rattle. He had a few Death Rattles from, I think this is the 3rd volume. $2, $2.80. Yeah, I think it's the 3rd volume. Fantastic cover. So I just picked up this one. Good old Jackson. I'm really becoming a big fan of Jackson's stuff as well too. I'll save this one for last. Adults Only Slow Death, number 6, with a Rand Holmes cover. I think this is a 2nd printing. I can't remember. I haven't gone through my book